school uniforms is a fierce one. Parents, administrators, teachers, and students all feeling like their voices are the ones that matter the most. But to get a truly unbiased look at the topic, one must look at the research. And in this case, the research is quite conclusive. The research shows that there are plenty of benefits to students wearing school uniforms. First of all, uniforms have been shown to increase self-esteem in students and their sense of community in schools. Uniforms are easier for parents, teachers, and school administrators, saving them all time and money. And uniforms also improve discipline referral rates and safety in our schools, and not many of us could argue with that. But I'm a middle school teacher myself, so I've developed some of my own opinions on uniforms. But I decided that it was important to look at the data, and here's what research shows us. Self-esteem and sense of community is embraced when uniforms are implemented. When students are dressed alike, there's no emphasis on brand names or what's considered cool. Hillary Rodham Clinton said it best when she said that when students wear uniforms, the focus shifts to learning. And that's what we want in our schools. We want the focus to be on students' education, not on what the latest brand is. Now, in my own middle school experience, I would have been horrified if someone had said, you have to wear a uniform. But now looking back, I wish that they had, because it really would have reduced a lot of that emotional stress that you go through when you're that age and trying to fit in, when that's the most important thing to you. Wearing school uniforms reduces that. Students don't have to feel like they don't fit in because they don't have the most expensive fashion. Also, teachers and other adults perceive students in a way that is better when they're dressed in uniforms. And that's the same concept as when you go to a job interview. You dress professionally because you want people to perceive you a certain way. And when students dress appropriately and professionally for school, teachers and other adults in the building perceive them that way, and they give them the utmost respect that students do deserve. And lastly, when uniforms are worn, teachers and students report a greater amount of school pride and a sense of belonging. When everyone's dressed alike, there's a unity that develops in the school. A 2002 study of 1,000 Texas middle schoolers suggested that students received significantly more positive perception of belonging to a school community when they wear uniforms. They can take pride in the way that they look when they wear school uniforms, and they don't have to be embarrassed when they go places as a group and they're all dressed alike. They can just feel like they belong as a part of that group. And that's, like we mentioned before, a very important part of being a middle schooler and developing appropriately. Now, the next point covers the efficiency of uniforms. A uniform company, popular uniform company named French Toast, reports that an average cost of one of their complete uniforms is only $45. Now, let's say you are a parent that hates to do laundry, so you want to buy 5 sets of uniforms so that you only have to do laundry once a week for your child. That's still only $225, and that could last you the entire school year. That saves parents money, and that's an important benefit of uniforms. Another is that students don't waste time figuring out what to wear in the morning, which decreases their tardiness, and it also increases their participation in school. They don't shy away from raising their hand and having people look at them because they're not embarrassed about what they're wearing, and they're not spending gobs of time in the mornings shuffling through all the clothes in their closet and trying to figure out what will make them look best. They don't have to figure that out. All teenage girls remember that battle that they had with their mothers in the morning. That's no longer. You don't have to worry about that when your student wears a uniform. And it also saves parents and teachers time and efficiency over students being able to not argue over their clothing choices. Nobody wants to have that argument, so why not cut it out? Whereas this saves time for instruction. And that's what we really want, is we want to be able to focus on education, and it brings us back to our main point. School uniforms do allow us to do that. Students are so good at finding loopholes in any dress code, but when you have a uniform dress code, it's so strict that there really aren't those loopholes that develop, and parents and teachers and administrators aren't wasting their time having that battle with students in the morning when they come in, They're not sent down to the principal's office and wasting the principal's time over things that are really trivial and shouldn't waste the time of administrators and students. And lastly, the last point that we'd like to make is that discipline referral rates and safety improve with school uniforms. And that is such a crucial piece. Uniforms cuts down on school bullies. Now, we have tons of research to show us this. For one example, a 2013 survey of elementary school principals, 63% of those school leaders said that bullying rates went down when they implemented uniforms in their schools. Now, if we can cut down bullying rates, why wouldn't we? Especially with all this national attention on increased rates of suicides due to bullying and cyberbullying that happens even at school when students have their technology in front of them, we can cut that out with school uniforms. Another is the occurrence of gang violence, theft, and other areas of discipline reports that decrease. So it's not just the bullying, it actually brings all those major areas of discipline down and takes that out of the schools. There were fewer sexual attacks, fewer firearm incidents, fewer drug-related incidents, all when you implement school uniforms in your district. After implementing for 1 year, Sparks Middle School in Nevada found that there was 63% drop in police reports in their community. So it's not just in the schools, it's spreading throughout the communities as well. And law enforcement officers agree, superintendents agree, that dressing alike keeps students safe. And the reason for that is when they are on field trips, they all look alike, which means that the teachers are easily able to spot them in a crowd. And being a middle school teacher myself, and taking students on field trips can sometimes be a stressful experience for the teacher because you have so many kids to look out for, and you're so worried that one of them will wander off and you won't spot them, or one of them will be kidnapped and you won't spot them. But if they're all dressed alike, then the field trip is a safer experience for everybody. That's also true when it comes to recognizing intruders in the building. Again, if everyone's dressed alike, then when adults see another adult in the building, or even when students see another adult in the building, they'll be able to tell if that adult belongs or not. So law enforcement can be notified faster when there's an intruder. So as the evidence demonstrates, increased self-esteem and sense of community, ease of enforcement, as well as improved discipline rates are all reasons to enforce school uniforms. If they want what's best for everyone that's involved, districts will implement school uniform policies in their schools. Since the advantages of school uniforms well outweigh the disadvantages, hopefully more schools across the nation will get on board and begin to implement uniform policies in their schools. It's best for education. Thank you.